心を燃やす薪になるのなら、痛くても苦しくてもきっと何だって。いいわ、やってやろうじゃない。大嫌いなあの人を大嫌いなまま、聖女として5国のために企みを片っ端から暴いて丁寧にへし折ってやるんだから。だって私は欲張りで旧国も復讐も譲れないもの。それが第29代聖女。
The Two Perfect Saint. This was episode number 6, my friends, and here's a couple of things that still hold true. First off, one of the worst episode 1s of the season. We can move past that though, because this is definitely one of the best anime of the season so far. And I think that even with episode 6, that still holds true. But here's the dealio. Even though episode 6 did set up very core things, like it genuinely set up what is Mia's convictions, what's driving her, what kind of saint does she want to be, what was she like when she was younger. She was more or less not tutored the same way. She wasn't set up for success the same way. What does being a saint mean to her? What does her power as a saint mean to her? It set up all of her convictions, and I think the episode did it very well. Now, it did it towards the tail end of the episode, but it still did it very well. It also set up, what does she want out of the prince? She wants him thrown out of the kingdom. She wants his life completely ruined because bro's trying to kill his dad. Like, what a piece of shit. What a garbage ass dude, right? And all for what? To be able to marry her? Well, he's already shown her what kind of man he is over and over, but it was even more tenfold because Mia's like, hey, come to the front lines with me. And dude pushed her in front of monsters. Like, what kind of POS, dude? Like, I would have just shoved him in front of monsters. Like, oh, looks like our prince died to the demons. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? I thought she was about to go ham on him. I thought she was gonna like throw him in front of the demons. So it established what she wants from what kind of saint she wants to be, what she wants, like what is this her actions going to do, what are they going to accomplish. It established that. And then this episode also established the demons. They have their own agenda. They are working for the church. Very weird stuff. So it established some kind of weird demon church relationship with the prior demon lord before. So it established all of that this episode. We didn't get much philia this episode, which I think is fine. Because I think the Mia stuff definitely trumps that. And then at the end of the episode, we also got that Mia is going to work with the first prince. I think it's the first prince, basically the shut-in prince. And she's going to basically build him up and, you know, with her backing and stuff to basically just give it to the prince even more. Now, although this episode did all of that, there were still moments where I kind of found myself a little bored. Now, not overly, because I liked the beginning of the episode where it was all about Mia getting the prince out and finding out that he misspent the money that the other kingdom gave. We found out that none of this was done by the orders or by the not conviction, but not by the permission of the prior king. So we found all of that out. Then we hit a lull in the episode, like after she took him to the front lines, we hit a little bit of a lull. And I think that's kind of where my entertainment value diminished a little bit. That was about a third into the episode, you know, where the demons ended up showing up. We get a little bit of philia back and forth. We see that the prince was being manipulated by another demon. We don't know who. We get the philia stuff where they're talking about the political stuff in you know, back and forth, which is all fine. And then that took us into the last half or last quarter of the episode where it was all about Philia coming up with the plans for her sister with the assassin and all that stuff. And I think that is the juice of the episode because that's where it got really good. So I guess, you know what? It was just like a tiny lull in the episode. I won't say it was completely boring. Because as I'm talking about, I was like, okay, yeah, I genuinely got a lot out of the episode contextually. So if you were in the beginning episode, you might have thought like, damn, Dom's really off the mark. But hey, I brought myself back. I still think this episode was about a 7 out of 10. I don't think it was the most exciting episode in the world. But I do think that it did genuinely set us up for all these things that are going to come from it. Mia's convictions, what's driving her, you know, how is she going to view the prince? You know, what does she want from this revenge? You know, what kind of saint does she want to be? We got to see how her sister was mistreated. We got to see her in the past. We got to see that that Philia is going to create a medicine that could even cure the king, so the king could become back into power once again. We saw that the second or the first prince is going to be manipulated a little bit, but in a good way to get him, back up and running. So this was a big setup episode for what's going to come next. So overall, I still think I'm chilling at like a 7 out of 10, just because like I wasn't like, oh my god, this episode was so good, but there was a lot of context here. Delivery, we can argue back and forth, regardless though, this continues to be one of the best anime of the season. Even the more monotone episodes are still pretty good. This was the only one where I was like, yeah, I wasn't excited after watching it. And I think that's kind of what's holding me back a little bit. But it still was a really good episode contextually. So, yeah. I'm going to see you guys next week for episode 7 of 2 Perfect Saint. A lot of stuff has started moving. What's going to happen with the demons? What's going to happen with the demons? What's going to happen with the demon lord? What's going to happen when the prince goes and gets the ring that's inevitably going to probably release the demon lord? A bunch of stuff that's going to go down. And Philia is going to have to just somebody. So, all right, friends. I'll see you guys next week. Episode 7. Peace.